This is Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale, two 16-year-olds facing first-degree murder, kidnapping, and evidence tampering charges. They weren't known as violent criminals, they were just high school students. But behind the scenes, something much darker was building. Their victim, Nohima Graber, was a respected Spanish teacher. She had a routine. Every day, she would go for a walk in the park. It was peaceful, predictable, and that's exactly why they chose it. Prosecutors later revealed this wasn't a random act. It was planned. The two teens discussed it beforehand, waited, and then followed her into the park.
We said, and then we kept walking back down towards the access trail. We were kind of in front of we were close to the parking lot, so we took a quicker way to the access trail while she was walking around.
When she walked past them, they attacked, striking her in the head and continuing until she was no longer moving.
And I gave the signal and it's all clear, and then she walked by and hit her in the back of the head, and then I said I probably should make sure she's dead, so we hit her one more time.
They then dragged her body into the woods, trying to hide what they had done.
It was like a strip of woods that separates the path from the access trail. And that's where we left her.
But they made one critical mistake. They talked about it online. Snapchat messages later revealed chilling details of the crime. One message read, "POV, you're my Spanish teacher, and this is the last thing you see." That message alone shocked investigators. It showed not just guilt, but a disturbing lack of remorse. Both were arrested shortly after. In court, Jeremy Goodale pleaded guilty and even testified about what happened. When given the chance to speak, he apologized. "I'm sorry, truly sorry."
I offer my sincerest apologies to the Graber family, but I know my words will never be enough. I've had time to think on what to say, and I'm sorry, truly sorry.
But for the family, words weren't enough. The judge sentenced him to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Then came Willard Miller. He also apologized, asking the court for another chance.
I apologize to all parties, everyone affected, to my community, to my family, to the Grabers, of course. And I ask that I'm given a chance, and I don't want to be institutionalized. I don't want to be in so long that I forget about what matters, where I come from, and what I need to do.
But moments later, he was sentenced to life, with parole after 35 years. And as the sentence was read, he stood there, no reaction, no visible emotion, almost completely unfazed. This is Dylan Shoemaker, a 16-year-old babysitter, facing second-degree murder and child abuse, causing death charges. It was supposed to be a normal night. The child was left in his care, inside a quiet home. But something went wrong. According to prosecutor, the toddler wouldn't stop crying, and instead of calming him down, Shoemaker lost control. He beat the child over and over until the injuries became fatal. When authorities arrived, it was already too late. The child had died. In court, Shoemaker appeared emotional, crying, shaking. "I didn't mean to hurt him."
I didn't mean to kill Oscar. Ashley, I really didn't. I really think I did that. I didn't mean to hurt him.
At first, it seemed like a tragic accident, but then the judge revealed something that changed everything. A recorded phone call. Shoemaker had called his mother from jail, and during that call, he said, "I'm a 16-year-old blonde. All I have to do is cry, and the jury will feel sorry for me."
In a phone call to your mother from the holding center, you stated, and I got a quote from the court reporter, "I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do is cry in front of the jury, and they're going to feel sorry for me."
I can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin.
That one statement destroyed his credibility. It showed manipulation, awareness, and intent to deceive. In that moment, the entire courtroom saw him differently, not as a scared teenager, but as someone trying to play the system. He was sentenced to 18 years to life in prison.
that you be sentenced to an indeterminate term of imprisonment, which will have a maximum of life. The court hereby imposes a minimum sentence of 25 years.
But that sentence was later modified to 18 years to life. This is Mackenzie Sharilla, a 17-year-old, facing murder and reckless endangerment causing death charges. On that day, she was driving with her boyfriend and his friend. Everything seemed normal, until suddenly, her car accelerated straight toward a building at nearly 100 miles per hour. The impact was devastating. Both passengers were killed instantly. She survived. At first, it was believed to be a tragic crash, but investigators noticed something unusual. There were no signs of braking, no attempt to avoid impact, nothing. Then surveillance footage revealed the truth. She made a calm turn, then pressed the accelerator and drove directly into the building. Prosecutors argued this wasn't reckless driving, this was intentional. They also revealed she had driven the same route days earlier, possibly planning it.
The families of Dom and Davia, I'm so deeply sorry. I hope one day you can see I would never let this happen or do it on purpose. I wish I could remember what happened. I'm just so sorry. I'm heartbroken. I love Dom and Davia. We were all friends and Dom was my soulmate. I wish I could take all your pain away, and I'm so sorry.
In court, Sharilla denied it. I would never do this on purpose. I wish I could remember. She cried. She apologized, but the judge didn't believe her. This was not an accident. This was murder.
Finds the defendant, Mackenzie Sharilla, guilty of felonious assault, to wit Dominic Russo, in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A2, as charged in Count 6. Count 7, felonious assault. Court, having had Count 7 tried to it pursuant to waiver, finds the defendant, Mackenzie Sharilla, guilty of felonious assault, to wit Davion Flanagan.
She was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. This is Brandon Spencer, a 19-year-old, facing attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and gang-related firearm charges.
Out in court today, banging his head on a table after a judge sentenced him to life in prison. The shooting triggered the university to boost security in and around campus.
It was Halloween night, a crowded party, filled with students, music, lights, celebration. Then suddenly, gunshots. People screamed, ran for cover. Some hid behind cars. Others dropped to the ground. In just seconds, 4 people were injured, miraculously. No one died, but the damage was done.
That's right, Micah. A man convicted of a violent crime here on campus got his long sentence today, and he did break down. But do students here on campus feel any safer now?
Spencer fled the scene, but not for long. He was arrested shortly after, less than a mile away. Prosecutors argued this wasn't random. It was targeted, linked to a gang-related conflict. Firing into a crowd showed complete disregard for human life.
I'm sorry for what happened, Your Honor, but I came to life in prison. And I'm not a bad person, but I made mistakes. I'm not just some gangbanger that she tried to portray me as.
In court, Spencer tried to explain, "I'm not a bad person, I made a mistake." But the jury didn't believe him. Then came sentencing. As the judge began reading the decision, the courtroom went silent. Everyone watching, waiting. And then Spencer snapped. He started banging his head against the table. Deputies rushed in, struggling to restrain him. Family members shouted. The courtroom turned chaotic.
Of Penal Code Section 664-187, attempted, willful, deliberate, and premeditated murder, defendant is sentenced to an indeterminate life term. The minimum period of parole eligibility is 15 years plus 25 years to life in accordance with Penal Code Section 12022.53D. This is to be concurrent with the principal term. As to count 4.
Moments later, the sentence was final. 40 years to life in prison. And just like that, his future was decided forever.